Guru Arjan was the first martyr of the Sikh faith and the fifth of the 10 Sikh Gurus, who compiled writings to create the 11th, the living Guru, Guru Granth Sahib. He was born in Goindval, Punjab, the youngest son of Guru Ram Das and martyr Bhani, the daughter of Guru Amar Das. Guru Arjan lived as the Guru of Sikhism for a quarter of a century. He completed the construction of Amritsar and founded other cities, such as Taran Taran and Kartarpur. The greatest contribution Guru Arjan made to the Sikh faith was to compile all of the past Gurus' writings, along with selected writings of other saints from different backgrounds which he considered consistent with the teachings of Sikhism into one book, now the Holy Scripture, the Guru Granth Sahib. It is perhaps the only script which still exists in the form first published by the Guru. Guru Arjan introduced the Masands, a group of representatives who taught and spread the teachings of the Gurus and received the Dasvand, a voluntary offering of a Sikh's income in money, goods or service. Sikhs paid the Dasvand to support the building of gurdwaras and langars. Although the introduction of the langar was started by Guru Nanak, Guru Arjan is credited for laying the foundation of the systematic institution of langars as a religious duty, one that has continued ever since. Guru Arjan was arrested under the orders of the Mughal Emperor Jahangir and asked to convert to Islam. He refused, was tortured and executed in 1606 CE. Historical records and the Sikh tradition are unclear whether Guru Arjan was executed by drowning or died during torture. His martyrdom is considered a watershed event in the history of Sikhism. Family. Arjan was the son of Guru Ram Das, the fourth Guru in Sikhism. He had two elder brothers, Prithvi Chand and Mahadeo. The eldest brother Prithia wanted to be the fifth Guru, but Arjan was designated as the fifth Guru by Guru Ram Das. By Gurdus, a noted 17th century Sikh chronicler, knew all three brothers from childhood. Prithia, stated by Gurdus in his chronicles, attempted several times to falsely claim and assume the title of being the rightful Sikh Guru while Guru Arjan was alive, and after Guru Arjan's death, including by using the pseudonym of Nanak in hymns he composed. But the Sikh tradition has recognized Guru Arjan as the fifth Guru, and Har Gobind as the sixth Guru. Arjan became the fifth Guru in 1581 CE, inheriting the title from his father, and after his execution by the Mughal officials, his son Har Gobind became the sixth Guru in 1606 CE. Life. Continuing the efforts of Guru Ram Das, Guru Arjan established Amritsar as a primary Sikh pilgrimage destination. He wrote a voluminous amount of Sikh scripture including the popular Sukhmani Sahib. Compiling the Adi Granth, Guru Arjan gave Sikhs an example of religious and moral conduct, as well as a rich body of sacred poetry. His starting of collection of offerings by way of Masan system in a systematic way accustomed them to a regular government. He traded in horses, though not extensively, and encouraged his followers to follow his example, to be as zealous in trade as they were in the faith. Guru Arjan became famous among his pious devotees, and his biographers dwell on the number of saints and holy men who were edified by his instructions. He was equally heeded by men in high positions. During his time, the teaching and philosophy of Guru Nanak took a firm hold on the minds of his followers. The economic well-being of the country is closely linked with the monsoon. With a view to alleviating the sufferings of the peasants, Guru Arjan helped the villages in digging 6-channel Persian wheel wells, which irrigated the fields. Chefhata is a living monument of his efforts in this direction. Martyrdom. Guru Arjan's martyrdom in Mughal custody has been a controversial issue in Sikh history, and has been variously interpreted. Most Mughal historians considered Guru Arjan's execution as a political event, stating that the Sikhs had become as a formidable social group, and Sikh Gurus became actively involved in North Indian political conflicts. A similar theory floated in early 20th century, asserts that this was just a politically motivated single execution. According to this theory, there was an ongoing Mughal dynasty dispute between Jahangir and his son Khusrau, suspected of rebellion by Jahangir, wherein Guru Arjan blessed Khusrau and thus the losing side. Jahangir was jealous and outraged, and therefore he ordered the Guru's execution. The competing view is that of the Sikh tradition, which states that the Guru's execution was part of the ongoing persecution of the Sikh spy authorities in the Islamic Empire, and that the Mughal rulers of Punjab were alarmed at the growth of the Pan. According to Jahangir's autobiography Tuzk Jahangiri, too many people were becoming persuaded by Guru Arjan's teachings, and if Guru Arjan did not become a Muslim, the Sikh Panth had to be extinguished. In 1606 CE, the Guru was imprisoned in Lahore fortress, where by some accounts he was tortured and executed, and by other accounts the method of his death remains unresolved. Sheikh Amritsar Hindi cheered the punishment and execution of Guru Arjan, calling the Sikh Guru an infidel. According to the Sikh tradition, before his execution, Guru Arjan instructed his son and successor Har Gobind to take up arms and resist tyranny. His execution led the Sikh Panth to become armed and pursue resistance to persecution under the Islamic rule. Some scholars state that the evidence is unclear whether his death was due to execution, torture or forced drowning in the Ravi River. J.S. Gruel notes that Sikh sources from the 17th and 18th century contain contradictory reports of Guru Arjan's death. J.F. Richard states that Jahangir was persistently hostile to popularly venerated non-Islamic religious figures, not just Sikhism. Baigurda was a contemporary of Guru Arjan and is a noted 17th century Sikh chronicler. His eyewitness account recorded Guru Arjan's life, and the order by Emperor Jahangir to torture the Guru to death. A contemporary Jesuit account, written by Spanish Jesuit missionary Jerome Xavier, who was in Lahore at the time, records that the Sikhs tried to get Jahangir to substitute the torture and death sentence to a heavy fine, but this attempt failed. Dabastan-i-Mizahib Mobad states Jahangir tortured Guru Arjan in the hopes of extracting the money and public reputation of his spiritual convictions, but the Guru refused and was executed. Jerome Xavier, in appreciation of the courage of Guru Arjan, wrote back to Lisbon that Guru Arjan suffered and was tormented. Michael Barnes states that the resolve and death of Guru Arjan strengthened the conviction among Sikhs that personal piety must have a core of moral strength. A virtuous soul must be a courageous soul. Willingness to suffer trial for one's convictions was a religious imperative. Historical revisionism, reconstruction and disputes. There are several stories and versions about how, where and why Guru Arjan died. Recent scholarship has questioned many of these, calling them as fictional interpretation, reflecting an agenda, or exaggerating fragmentary traces of documentary evidence in historical analysis. The alternate versions include stories about the role of Guru Arjan in a conflict between the Mughal Emperor Jahangir and his son Jahangir, suspected of trying to organize a patricidal coup, or alternatively a Hindu minister of Jahangir named Chandu Shah, who in one version take revenge on Guru Arjan for not marrying his son Har Gobind to Chandu Shah's daughter, and in another Lahore version where Chandu Shah actually prevents Guru Arjan from suffering torture and death by Muslims by paying 200,000 rupees to Jahangir, but then keeps him and emotionally torments him to death in his house. All these versions and meta-narratives became popular in 19th-century British colonial literature, such as those of Max Arthur Macaulay. Several alternative versions of the story try to absolve Jahangir and the Mughal Empire of any responsibility, but have no trace of support in the documentary evidence from early 17th century, such as the records of Jesuit priest Jerome Xavier and the memoirs of Jahangir. Spelling. Some scholars spell Guru Arjan's name as Guru Arjan,